Before I hook the snowblower up to the tractor, I'm going to grease it all up, clean it up, get it ready to go. I won't show you too much of that because I've got to take like the chute off and grease that all up real good, clean it up. But I'll grease up all of the grease fittings, all the joints and the moving parts, grease them all up. And I use Stay Lube Extreme Pressure Molygraph multi-purpose grease. Hope Stay Lube is watching this. Actually, this is what I picked up the other day. I've used different types, but this is what I picked up the other day. So that's what I'm using this time. Stay Lube Multi-Graph. Buy it at your local store. All right, I'll get it greased up and then we'll hook up the tractor. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I won't show you everything I do here to grease it all up, but I'll show you what I do have to grease up. And this is pretty common for most snowblowers. So on the drive shaft here, I've got 2 grease fittings at this end that slides onto the PTO shaft. So there's a grease fitting here. That'll grease up where the PTO shaft goes in. I've got a grease fitting in there, right there. That's for the universal joint. I think there's one down on this end as well. I'll have to take that off to see, but I think there's one down there as well. And what I'll do is I'll grease up, well, 2 things. I'm going to grease up the pin here a little bit, but I'm also going to grease up the 3-point connections on the tractor. So I'll grease this up, grease up the one over there, grease everything up on the tractor. Got the tripod in the way here. So I'll grease everything up, all the fittings on the tractor, so everything moves smoothly, all the arms and everything else. For the chute, there is 1 or 2 grease fittings. Let's see if I can find them. I think there's 2. One right there. One right there. I think that's it. I think it's just those 2. And what that does is it pushes grease up in between the plate here and the chute base. But I want to clean this up good first. Last winter was a real tough winter for us. We had a lot of rain. So everything got really dirty. There wasn't a lot of clean snow. It was just dirty snow with rain and mud and everything else. So I've got to take this chute off, and I'll clean up this connection this plate here real good, get rid of all that grit and dirt that you see there, and then I'll grease it from underneath. On the front side here, I'm going to grease up or oil up the chain, put some oil on it, and let's see, I think there's some grease fittings here as well. Oh yeah, there's a grease fitting right in there. And at the other end, there's a grease fitting there for those bearings. I don't think there's anything in here. But I think there's a grease fitting back here somewhere. And I apologize, it's kind of dark in here today. It's a cloudy day. But I think I've got a grease fitting in here somewhere. Let's see if I can get a light on the subject. All right. I don't see it now, but I'm pretty sure there's a grease fitting in here somewhere. Here's something I've got to do. I've got to tighten that nut up. For some reason, the nut on here, on this shaft here, always comes loose. And I've tried everything. I've got lock washer on it. I tried nylock nuts. I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to put a second nut on it to act as a locking nut. But this one always comes loose, and I end up losing more shear pins. They just drop out. I lose more than I break. So you can see how loose it is. It's just, come on, focus. It's just turning. So I'll have to tighten that up, put another lock or another nut on it. But anyway, I'll look around for all the grease fittings and make sure everything's greased up and lubed up and oiled up. All right, I'll bring you back later. Well, I'm going to bring you back for this part. I took the chute off the snowblower, and you can see all this grit. Now, last winter, the ground never froze. We didn't have a whole lot of snow. We had a lot of rain, icy weather. So you can even see it up in here. All that grit and all that sand. So every time I went out to clear the snow, I was scooping up dirt and sand with the snow. So I'll clean this up real good. I'll wipe it down with a cloth and then hit it with a wire brush and clean that up, and I'll bring you back. And we're back. So I've got the seat here for the chute all cleaned up and greased up. So what I did is I just took some grease and spread it around there rather than put the chute back on and try to use the grease fittings and spread a little bit of grease here and there while I had it apart. I just greased it up real good. Took the bottom of the collar for the chute, greased that all up, cleaned them all up first, then greased them up. And then what I'll do is the clamps here, I clean them up. Oop, missed some there, I think. So when I put these back on, these hold the chute down. When I put these back on, I'll grease the bottom of the clamp right there. Put a little bit of grease on that to help with the sliding of the chute. So I'll set the chute back in place and bring you back. Well, the snowblower is all cleaned up. Best I can do anyway for now. Got the chute all set here, all new grease in there. Cleaned this up the best I could. There was all kinds of sand and grit along in here. Same thing down in here. I should have shown you this earlier. This was all these cavities here. These are all full of sand and dirt and grit. I got those all cleaned up pretty well. Greased everything up. Got all the pins waiting for the tractor to hook it all up. Oh, I did find, now I've got to set back up by the chain, but I did find a grease fitting in there, so I greased that one up. I oiled up the chain. Got that all oiled up. Got all the, or at least the vast majority of the sand and dust and dirt and grit off the auger here. Got that all cleaned up. Oh, there's something here. Okay. Got that all cleaned up. So she's ready to go. All greased up. Same thing in here. It was just full of sand. Got that all cleaned up. Greased up all the fittings on the tractor. So now I'm ready to back her up and hook up the snowblower. And this is always the fun part because this thing is heavy. I forget the weight. I think it's around 500 pounds, 450 pounds, something like that. So it's always fun wrestling with this monster, trying to get it all lined up and hooked up to the 3-point hitch on the tractor. But let's give it a try. Might need my top link. That might help. I've got to find that. All right, so found my top link. I put it where I wouldn't lose it, so it took me a while to find it. Well, I'm finishing this up just in time. It's 4:30, it's getting dark. So I just wanted to adjust the turnbuckles on the arms there so I didn't have a whole lot of slop, side to side slop. That's pretty good there. I want a little bit of give. I might even loosen it up just a little bit, but I kind of like it there. So the snowblower is all ready to go. I'll give it a test run, and then I've got one other thing to do. I want to put my edge tamers on my front bucket, and that way I can move snow with the front bucket if I need to, without digging up gravel and lawn and everything else. So let's see if I can start up the snowblower. I had to shut her down quick. I forgot an important matter. These hoses, the hydraulic hoses for the backhoe, this is a common problem on the GC series Massey Fergusons, and it may be a problem on other tractors as well. There's just no good place to put those hoses. They're always in the way of the lift arms and the top link. So they've got to go in just the right place or they can get damaged. So I forgot to zip tie them up. They were hanging down when I started up the snowblower, and they were rubbing up against the shaft there. So if you have a GC series tractor, make sure you put those hoses somewhere where they're out of the way. Most people, I think, just tie them up here somewhere, either around the ROPS or up behind the seat. And there's not a whole lot of room in here because I have lift arms in the way and the top links in the way. So I got that all done, and I've got my edge tamers on, so that way I can get some snow off the ground without digging into gravel and dirt. Well, I don't know about you, but I know I've used up all of my fun minutes today. So it's getting pretty late. It's dark outside. I'm going to go in and grab a meal. We'll get back at this tomorrow. I've got more work to do. So, as always, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.